I believe that so many ailments of our culture and the things that kids suffer from today, like depression and anxiety, would be strongly alleviated if we all took note of this one thing. Stick with me until the end because I have a free gift to share with you that will help you get on track with minimalism. If you're ready to love parenting and parent from love, slam on that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're told every time I upload a new episode every Monday. The Parenting Junkie. Hi, I'm Untitled. I am a mindful parenting coach and I'm the mother of 4, and I am so proud to be helping parents across the globe reclaim presence, peace, and play for their families, and I hope I can do the same for you. Today, I'm going to be outlining why minimalism is so important for children. So if you're not convinced yet, you're not yet on the minimalism bandwagon, this episode is for you. Or if there's someone else who is kind of interested in minimalism and they want to understand what it's all about, send them this episode, tag them, share it with them. They're going to get great information on why minimalism is so important. So slam on that like button and let's get started. Number 1, they're more calm and peaceful. When kids live in a relatively soothing, minimalistic environment, they themselves are calmer. Consider the effect your environment has on you. If you are in a hustle, bustle kind of place like an airport or a supermarket, how does that affect your internal state? Versus if you're in a very soothing place like a spa or the beach. What we see around us, our visual cues from our surroundings, inform our nervous system of how heightened our attention should be, how alert we need to be, and whether we need to be on guard or whether we can actually rest and digest. And that's why design is incredibly important. But I don't mean design just in terms of the aesthetics of things and your taste and preferences. I mean design in terms of what's actually informing us of how we should behave with regards to our surroundings. When you go somewhere like an airport, there's design all around. The signs, the uniforms, the color system, the materials used, the proportions of the architecture, for example, all informs you how you should behave and how you should feel. The design of our home does the same thing. And when you have less stuff, when there's more of a soothing atmosphere, then we feel calmer and more peaceful. Consider what you feel when you face a massive pile of clutter. If you see a very cluttered room with lots and lots of stuff in it, then it probably causes you some levels of stress. You probably feel defensive and you don't know where to place your attention. Which leads me to point number 2, which is that they're better focused. They have longer spans of attention. We all do when we're in a more minimalistic environment. It's really simple common sense, but the less distraction we have, the more we're able to focus at the task at hand. And so if you have a more minimalistic environment, you can expect children to be able to sink into deeper play, to listen to stories for longer, to do their work, whatever it is, with a greater attention because they're not literally being distracted the whole time, even by just the knickknacks and household objects around. When there's things that you could fidget with, things that you could trip over, things that your eye is drawn to all over the room, then it's very hard to focus on what matters. Whereas when everything is clean, where it's a clean slate and a white wall, and it's just that one thing that you want to be focused on, that grabs your attention. So if you think about the difference between a wall or a room with a ton of different things going on, lots of different furniture, lots of different shelves, lots of different heights, knick-knack, clutter, etc., and compare that to a smooth white wall with just one poster or one cluster of objects to focus on, you can see the difference between how our focus works. That's why minimalism is important for children, so that they can focus on what's important for children. Number 3 is there's less conflict when we are minimalistic. When there's less things to fight over, then there's less fighting, especially between siblings. The fewer toys you have, the fewer items they have, the less fighting and conflict there is. The fewer clothes they have in their closet, the less fighting over what to wear. The fewer things out in your home, the less there's conflict over tidying up and cleaning up as well. So it just makes everything run a lot smoother when there's less distractions and less things to manage and deal with. Number 4 is that there's less focus on materialism. I think most of us here want to raise children who aren't super duper materialistic, but that's very hard in industrialized nations. There is a lot of things, a lot of items, toys, new things all the time, fads changing and coming out, etc. And children get used to, I know at least my children get used to the expectation that there's always new stuff coming in. When there's some focus on minimalism, then we at least have a conversation around, do we really want more stuff? Do we really benefit from it? And who does? Does the planet benefit from it? Does the marketers selling those items benefit from it? Do we need these things and do they bring us joy? Number 5 is, I think minimalism supports more gratitude. I think when we're more intentional and deliberate and careful about what we have and how much we have, then we are more grateful and take better care of the things that we do have. When we are actually aware and we're thoughtful about whether or not we want to spend money on more things, whether or not we want to get more things, and that doesn't mean that we can't. I'm certainly not a hardcore minimalist. We have stuff in our house, as you can see. But that doesn't mean that we aren't intentional about the things that do come in and about whether or not we keep them. Because we are aware that everything that comes into our house has energy and takes energy from us to keep it organized. If something comes into our home that we're not thrilled about, we might enjoy it for a little while until we get bored and then pass it on to someone who could enjoy it better. That, I think, leads to a greater sense of gratitude because we care, we think about what's coming in and about what we have. If this is making sense for you, give me a love in the comments below, and I would love to hear why minimalism is important to you, or if you've got on the minimalism bandwagon. It's a spectrum, remember. We aren't either minimalistic or maximalist. We are somewhere in the middle, and we are always journeying and toing and froing depending on our household, our budget, our children, and all of that. So don't worry about being hardcore or being perfect, no such thing, but give me a love in the comments below if you're into this. Number 6 is spending more time outside. I think that when you have less things in the home, less things that you want to be busy with all the time, it encourages you to get out and about and to spend more time outdoors and in nature. It has been very well documented how important nature time is for all of us humans and especially children. And so I think having less focus on accumulating stuff in the home and doing more things in the home helps to encourage us to get out of the home and really interact with the big world. Number 7 is that minimalism encourages creativity. When you don't have a specific toy for each and everything you might be imagining, then you imagine into your open-ended simple things that you have around the home. Rather than having the exact right ice cream set in your toys, you take a block and you pretend it's an ice cream. So minimalism encourages us to be resourceful and to think outside of the box and to put much more imagination and creativity into the things that we do. It encourages us to use one thing for many things, rather than to cater to every single need that we might have. And it does that for us adults as well. When we're more minimalistic in our wardrobe, we are more creative in the combinations that we use. When we're more minimalistic in our pantry, we're again more creative in our cooking and in our recipes. Rather than having the exact item and the exact product to fit every single box, we learn to be resourceful and use the one for many. Number 8 is a home that focuses on minimalism, I think teaches children to steward their money more mindfully. Because when you're minimalistic, you're really being careful about what you purchase, in other words, what you spend money on. And that leads directly into a conversation about where we want to put our resources and where we want to spend our money. And the conversation that using money is like voting as well. It's voting for those companies or those processes that we want to support in the world and that we want to champion and patron. When you're minimalistic, you're more intentional about the items that you buy, and that leads to a conversation about being more intentional about how you spend your money. And if you want more on that, I recommend watching my video about allowance. Number 9 is, I think that minimalism helps us to focus on eco-friendliness, on being better to the planet. When we're being conscientious about what we buy and trying to be conscientious about where we buy it from as much as possible, I know I have a long way to go on that yet, but having a focus on minimalism allows us to really think, well, where did these things come from? What material are they made out of? Who made them? And how were they treated along the way? And how did this affect our planet? And how long will we use this for? How much will we use it? What will happen to it when we're done with it? All of that helps us to open up the conversation about caring for our planet and being more careful about our consumption. And number 10 is that minimalism and a minimalist focus helps us to put more of a focus on experiences and on the quality rather than on the quantity or on the things. You can watch my video all about giving experiences as gifts after this one. But I wanted to say that I think that we can all agree that experiences pay dividends. And this is backed up by research. When you have more experiences, going to a museum, meeting friends, traveling, just even going to your local forest and hiking, these things pay dividends. The memories that we create, the lessons that we learn, their value actually goes up over time. We value them more over time. Whereas when we buy items, generally speaking, we get a hit of dopamine, we get excited when we got the acquisition, when we purchased this item, and to begin with it's exciting, and then very quickly that subsides and we're no longer interested, and it becomes that clutter around the home. We're ready to give it to someone else. And so the happiness graph drops when we get more things, more stuff. But the happiness graph grows when we have experiences, when we invest in experiences. And I think minimalism helps to remind us, don't buy so much stuff, rather invest in your experiences. So if you are ready to start becoming more minimalistic, to start decluttering, I have a guide for you that will help. It's a free PDF download. Go ahead to my website, theparentingjunkie.com/design, and get your free childhood design guide, which will help you to start to create a minimalistic environment that isn't hardcore. We're not going for extreme or fundamentalist. You're still going to have things. You can still have toys if you want, and I'll recommend which ones you should have. I certainly have many, but they'll be more intentional, more deliberate, and you will free up so much space and so much energy for the things that matter in your life. Now, if you want to band together with parents from across the globe who are also trying to be more minimalistic, then go on over to Facebook and join Love Parenting with Avital. It's my free Facebook group with the best parents from around the world talking about things just like this. And if you have anyone who you know who might be interested in why minimalism helps children, perhaps a school teacher or a fellow parent, then please share this video with them. I think it could help. Plus, you may have heard that I've recently launched my podcast, The Parenting Junkie Show. You are warmly invited to head on over and subscribe to that and hear a lot more about minimalism and many other parenting topics there. Slam that subscribe button right now, because next week, here's what's coming. In this video, you're going to learn how to be more productive as a WAM, a work-at-home mom or dad.